One of many highlights of the week on Pompey Sound, perhaps the highlight of the week, judging by his podcast numbers, is Steve Bone. Steve,
Hello,
welcome.
well,
Hi.
Big build up as ever. You're putting the pressure on already.
Absolutely. Got to keep the pressure up. For all you know, we're looking at somebody else who plays a similar game to you, and just want to keep you on your toes.
Yeah, I've got to keep turning in the 7 out of 10 performances, haven't I?
Yes.
In the meantime, if not more.
So let's go straight there, shall we? Who are we going to play wide on the right? We've got two new additions who can do that job. Which one do you want to go for? We talked about Zegacic a little bit. Let's start with John Swift.
Yeah, the manager is talking about Swift. I'm pleased we've signed Swift, by the way. I think that's a good signing. I've seen the usual suspects are saying, "Oh, he's a bit old. He's a bit past his best, and why are we signing him?" You always get some critic. You could sign Messi, and somebody would find fault with it, wouldn't they? And say he's past his best. But I'm pleased we've signed Swift. I think, from what the manager has said in different places and after different games so far, and talking about Swift, he seems to see him as a what they call a number 8 these days, which is one of the two in more central midfield players.
Yes.
But also sees him as a player who can play further forward, but probably more likely to be central. Mm-hmm. If he is playing further forward, so in the number 10. It's funny how a lot of these positions have numbers now, don't they? Some of them and some of them you don't. You know where the number 9 plays. The number 8, I have to think about where the number 8 and the number 6 and others play. Oh, hang on. Sorry, what's happened there? Oh,
are you there?
Hello. Yes.
What happened there? Did you hear something?
I don't know. I did. Yeah, was that my end or your end?
Well, I want to take you up on something, so we'll do it now.
Okay.
2 of your shows ago, not the last show, but the Steve Bone show, if you like, before that. Did I hear a rag and bone man going past your house?
Oh, you might have done. Yeah, we do occasionally get an any old iron man going past.
And I thought, no,
I didn't notice that had occurred during
well, I thought I heard it.
Slot.
Then I thought to myself, I should point out to anyone who doesn't realise that the Pompey Sound Studios is not in Portsmouth, but Steve Bone is, in sort of Gosport way.
Gosport, near to Portsmouth, yeah.
No, only I heard it and I thought, no, this must be auto-suggestion on my part. Because I'm talking to Steve Bone, and so I've got a rag and bone man in my head. And
it's almost like planned, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm not getting enough alcohol down me or something, So anyway...
we do have a chap who... Yeah, he goes past every couple of weeks. Any old iron.
Yeah, that's him.
And I always forget to look for old iron to give him until he's going past.
It's gone.
It's too late. So
does that old bloke rush out looking to see if there's any horse manure in the? Has he got a horse and cart?
So.
No. Surely not.
No. Sadly not. He's in a van. He's in a van with a little sort of cage on the back. Yeah.
Back to the football.
But anyway, I don't know what today's interruption was, but there we go. It's never dull, is it?
No, it isn't. That's how we like it. He's a solid pro, isn't he, John Swift? I mean, he is a pro right through to his marrow. Yeah.
He's played for some good proper clubs, hasn't he? And he's played a lot of games in the Championship.
Yep.
Played a lot for Reading. Over quite a long period. I think Reading's his sort of longest stint. Yeah. But at West Brom, I think he's played more than 100 games for West Brom, and weighed in with a fair few goals and assists as well, which is what you want from a midfield player, isn't it? The goals are going to have to be shared around, the assists are going to have to be shared around. So looking forward to seeing him, and he's a Gosport boy, of course, as well. So that we can't go wrong, can we? And if we're going to lose Matt Ritchie, who's also a Gosport boy, then we need to get the quota up again. So good to have him on board.
Yep.
It's difficult to know at this stage who's going to play where, though, isn't it? As you're saying, who's going to play wide right, who's wide left. I mean, you've got Murphy wide left. Paddy Lane is giving himself a bit of a chance, isn't he, at the moment, to play on that wide right role. If Ritchie is going, then there's place up for grabs until we sign somebody else for that position. But Lane produced a good finish in the friendly at Woking the other night. He was missed second half of last season, didn't he? Injured, but seems to be back and fit now. People have noticed he looks a little bit more. He's built himself up perhaps a little bit, bit more muscle there. So that's good. He's a good contender. But if you assume that we're going to sign probably at least a couple more midfielders or attackers, then you should end up with a nice little selection box in time for that first game.
It does feel as though it's starting to look pretty good, isn't it? I don't know about you.
Yeah.
Does it feel like more or less the middle of the transfer window, the middle of the closed season to you? Because we've got a couple of friendlies under our belt and we've got a couple more to come. We've got a couple of people coming in, but there will be a couple more. Yeah. We can begin to take stock, can't we?
Yeah, that's right. It was the quiet period did seem to last a long time, didn't it? It seemed to go on for weeks, where there was obviously the players were away, there was no training, there were no games, and there was just no news at all. I don't know what we talked about for half an hour every Thursday, to be honest, although we managed. But now it seems to have coincided with the start of pre-season training about 3 weeks ago. Then they went off to Slovakia, followed by some loyal fans who went over to watch a training session, which I thought was funny but great for them. And now playing the friendlies back here, a couple of non-league teams we've played. We're up to Crawley on Saturday, where I think you'll see quite a strong Pompey team probably play, and signings are happening as well, aren't they? After for ages we got Segacic in quite early, and then it was a bit of a waiting game to see what else would happen. So Swift has followed him in, and you kind of think now, would it be greedy to expect sort of one a week between now and the start of the season? I don't think that would be unreasonable.
No.
It might even be more than that. We might even end up signing sort of 6 or 7 between now and the start of the season. We don't quite know what numbers they've got in mind, do we? No. Depends who becomes available as well. They're looking at various trialists. I think 3 different trialists have played in the 2 games this week. Another goalkeeper being one of them. So looking at a lot of goalkeepers at the moment, aren't we?
We're not going to be caught short there. No,
we're going to have a 3rd choice and a 4th choice and a 5th choice.
Because I always remember that John Messino himself used to play in goal when needed. If
did he? Right.
I believe he. Yes, only for one half of one game.
Right.
Obviously, he could turn his hand to absolutely everything. So we got 5.5 goalkeepers now.
Yeah, we shouldn't have to turn to a central defender, should we, in goal?
Now, Steve and I talk. Pompey Sound talks to Steve Bone, distinguished journalist that he is, on Thursdays. So there are things in the air that by the time you hear it, good listener, which might be on the output as a radio station, or it might be the podcast, will be either done and dusted or long forgotten. But the talk at the moment is that Pompey are talking to Danny Ings. I
didn't know that. You've hit me with one there I didn't know.
Oh, I just picked it up on my phone not 3 minutes ago.
As a player?
Yeah. 32.
Right, I thought he was older than that. He seems to have been around forever, doesn't he?
Still knows where the goal is.
Yeah.
Hungry to do well, get 1 or 2 more seasons.
Yeah.
Round our way, because I didn't realise this, he is a local boy as well.
Is he? Yeah, he was obviously up the road for a while, wasn't he?
Up the road for a while. We'll have to forgive him for that.
Good gloss over that if he does well for us. I suppose, I think we've said on here, haven't we, that you can't rely on Colby Bishop to play every minute of every game and score all the goals we need from a centre forward.
No.
You either need someone you can rotate him with, or someone who's a good backup who's on the bench and can come on after 60 minutes if it's not working for Colby.
Yeah.
So maybe, and I think most people would agree that you want that backup person to be someone who's been around a bit, someone with experience of this level or similar levels.
Yes.
And you've certainly got that.
That does feel right, doesn't it?
Yeah, because you can have, good luck to Thomas Waddingham and people like that. He's going to be around and he's going to be on the bench probably a lot of the, for a lot of games, and he may well come on during the season and develop and prove a good backup to Bishop. But I don't think you can depend on it because he's such an unknown quantity still in this country and at this level. So if you've got someone like Ings around the place as well, it makes sense in a way, doesn't it? If they're either looking at him or a similar sort of signing. People will sort of some will roll their eyes a bit at the obvious connection in terms of who Ings has played for, but that sort of stuff gets forgotten if he comes in and does a job for us. So yeah, keep an eye on that one. Yeah, there's more and more names being linked now, isn't there? There were very few names to play with for a few weeks, sort of back end of May, start of June. But people like names, don't they? We want to sort of throw them around and have a good debate about them. And half of them probably aren't on Pompey's radar at all. No. Let's be honest.
No, but it's nice to imagine, isn't it?
Yeah.
So two names that have been cropping up quite a bit are Pele Matson and also a Belgrade player called Koznovsky.
Yes, I've seen both of them talked about.
Both looks a bit vague now, doesn't it? Do you think?
Yeah, the Koznovsky one was talked about a couple of weeks ago, and then there seemed to be a bit of a steer from Pompey that they weren't in the market for him, and then it's come back again in the past couple of days that they are, almost as though they've perhaps made some sort of offer has been turned down. Pompey said, right, well, fair enough, that was our offer, and maybe other offers haven't come in, and maybe now Pompey's offer is a realistic one again. It can happen like that sometimes, can't it?
Yeah.
And he's going for about 1.2 million, I think, isn't he? So, that suggests there's a player there. Same sort of price tag that we paid for Matthews. So it's not an impossible, it's not that is necessarily too expensive for us to consider spending on a player if we think he's good enough.
Do you think that's about our top whack at the moment?
I think it probably is. I don't think they're suddenly going to start paying 2 and 3 million for players. It's not their MO, is it?
No.
They're looking for. They're willing to spend money on players, but there is a ceiling to it. Because they're being quite cautious, they want to grow the squad. They want to bring in good young players that you can develop and that can do well for us, and perhaps then can be sold on at a profit.
Yes.
Part of the game, part of the business, isn't it? So I think that might be in their mind as well. If you sign a player like Koznovsky and he comes in and he has a good season or 2 seasons in the Championship with us, then you've got a big profit to be made, haven't you? Premier League clubs will possibly be looking at him and looking at spending out a lot more than that. So you can see how that might fit into their plans. Matson, that seems to have gone a bit quieter, I think. There was some talk that Norwich were interested in him as well and were likely to offer more for him because that's what they do and can do. There was a few people sort of bristling at that, saying, well, why can't we compete with Norwich? Yeah, I mean, I don't know too much about these are all players that, until the first story comes out saying Pompey have been linked with,
yes,
let's be honest, you've never heard of them, have you? Generally, you don't, or if you have, you don't know much about them. You can watch the YouTube clips and so on like that, and they always look good on their YouTube clips because the clips are them scoring goals and setting up goals and doing wonderful things. Yeah. Nobody makes a YouTube montage of a player losing the ball in the centre circle, do they?
No.
So you're not going to see that side of it as well. So yeah, there's a couple there that seem to be possibles, but certainly not definites. And there's always the chance, for all we know, Pompey are close to others that haven't been mentioned in any sort of media outlet. Yeah. They've done that before, haven't they?
Suddenly there he is in a blue shirt.
That's right, yeah. Somebody who's not been on the radar at all.
Not gossiped about, nothing.
Exciting.
Yeah.
No. Pompey can be quite good at keeping them quiet like that as well. It's harder once you're back in training, I think, and once you're playing friendlies, because if you want to have a good look at them in your own camp, then that's when other pairs of eyes tend to see them, isn't it? But no, we wait and see when the next one arrives and who it's going to be.
Let's get your take on the friendlies. We've had 2, we've got another 2 coming. I don't think the final friendlies... Oh, it has been announced, hasn't it? It's a Dutch side.
Yes, that's right. A Dutch top division side, I think, isn't it? Yeah. Coming to Fratton on the 2nd of August, I think.
Well, we tipped up a Dutch side because links between Southampton Airport and Amsterdam That's the best link Southampton Airport's
right.
got. And I figured...
Okay. Yeah.
I thought I'll take a punt on this. If a Dutch side is going, if a side's going to come across from abroad, and that was what it was decided, we need someone from abroad.
Yes, they did say that, didn't they? Yeah.
How are they going to get into the country easily and get to Fratton Park if that's where the game is going to take place, and it is?
Yeah. It is.
And the best thing is if they're quite close to Amsterdam Airport, and I believe this town is about an hour in a coach, and then hop across to Southampton and get another coach.
Yeah.
10, 15 minutes up to Fratton Park. They can do it in under a day and have a game.
That's a good bit of deduction work by you.
It doesn't happen very often, but when it does.
Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? And I think Pompey fans like a friendly against a club. I think any club from abroad seems a bit exotic, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And if it's one that you don't know much about or you've not seen before, it's a bit of intrigue, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a bit more than just Pompey playing another friendly against Charlton or something like that.
You can dream of it being Champions League, can't you? You know.
Yeah.
What do you make of the two friendlies that we've had so far? They're Woking and Farnborough.
I don't think you can take too much from them. I think we've turned in what looks like a couple of quite professional displays. We've scored 5 goals in the second one. Was it 2-0 at Woking and then got 5 at Farnborough. A lot of different scorers and a lot of different players playing. You know, there were it's almost sort of 2 different 11s, isn't it, that play during these games because you make so many subs. Harry Clout, the youngster, making a bit of a name for himself at Farnborough with one of the goals.
Getting quite a bit of copy, isn't he?
He's obviously in the ballpark, isn't he? He's in the reckoning for first team squad, you would think, at the moment, unless they are so impressed at how he's done that they now loan him out to somebody in League 2 or something like that, or National League. That happens as well, doesn't it? Quite exciting, really, for him to be around and for Pompey fans to sort of urge him on, and you know, there's nothing better than somebody who's come through the academy forcing his way into the team and playing a few games and scoring the odd goal, is there? Hasn't happened too regularly at Pompey for quite a long time. It has happened, but it hasn't happened for a little while. So I think if that were to happen, that would be a feather in their cap for the academy, which they could probably do with.
Quite a few academy players apparently played well.
Yes, that's right. Which is good. You know, you need to integrate them into the first team at some point. This is the time to do it, isn't it? I also saw a little clip of Segacic's goal at Woking, which was a very good finish. I don't know if you saw that.
I know. Describe it.
Ran onto a part. It was a little bit of playing about with the ball at the back. It was a quick move through the middle. Ran onto a pass. Had a bit of ground to cover still. Goalkeeper started to come out. Slotted it very firmly and decisively past him and in. You know, good sort of assured finish. Which bodes well. You know, we need players who can do that sort of thing and who aren't going to panic when they see the whites of the goalkeeper's eyes.
No.
So he's looking in good form. I bet it's early days, isn't it? I mean, if we'd lost to Woking or Farnborough, I don't think we'd have been too concerned about it. So, by the same token, you can't get too carried away at beating them.
No.
You know, you should be able to send a team there and beat them.
And one priority which has been fulfilled so far, touch wood, is no injuries.
No, there's been 1 or 2 little niggles before the friendlies, I think, weren't there? Possibly from the week away. Bishop, I think, has picked up a little something. Boat has just felt his knee, hasn't he? But he's not expected. That's not thought to be serious, and he may even feature in the squad at Crawley on Saturday, I think I've read. So yeah, there's certainly no serious injuries so far, as you would hope in pre-season. But you know, we've been stung before, haven't we? You know, we've lost.
Yeah.
By this stage, we've 2 or 3 men down already, aren't we? Sometimes. So let's keep everything crossed that we have better fortune this season with injuries. We're due an injury-free season if there can be such a thing. But yeah, so far so good. So it'll be interesting to see in the next couple of games whether a sort of regular starting 11 starts to emerge, and whether particular new players are playing in the same position every week. We haven't seen Swift play yet either, have we? I think he's been just getting his fitness and his sharpness up after not playing for a while. So perhaps we'll see him at Crawley for 45 minutes. Don't know.
What's upset a lot of people at West Brom, fans and journalists, is that John Mousinho is saying what a steal he's been, and how he has great powers of leadership and great commitment on the pitch. And they're all sitting around going, well, he didn't do it for us.
Fans are funny, aren't they? When a player leaves,
yes,
it's almost like they have to say, "Oh well, we won't miss him. Glad he's gone. Won't miss him. He didn't do anything."
Yeah.
But actually, if you go back to when Swift was at West Brom, I'm sure the general opinion of him was a bit higher. You know, it seems on paper to have done quite well for them, doesn't he? Over a couple of years. So. I never read too much into what fans of a player's previous club think.
No.
I'll watch him for myself.
Yes, absolutely. And our players who go off, we generally wish them well, don't we?
We do, yeah, and they get a good welcome when they come back, generally, don't they?
Yeah.
I can't remember the last one who didn't, in fact. You know, if you think about, Marcus Harness got a few sort of pantomime boos, didn't he, when he came down with Derby last year, but actually he then got a round of applause when he went off because he had done okay for us. There might be one or two coming back next year. We might get drawn against Lincoln in the Cup and get Riley Towler.
Oh, Pompey reserves, yeah.
Scored a goal for them the other night. I seen a friendly, didn't he, old Riley?
Yeah,
so he's in the team, doing well. Good luck to him.
Just taking you back to something that you touched on a moment ago. Mick Robertson, in his most recent piece, was he had a couple of pot shots at people who were being very negative on social media, and one comment that got his goat was that the reason that Abdoulaye Kamara hasn't fitted in and has left us with a hole has to do with the fact that our academy isn't doing the business. Our academy isn't what it's supposed to be, and so on and so forth. And yet, against Farnborough for sure, I think I counted about 4 or 5 academy lads out there, all of whom, according to, I think it was Neil Allen, did a marks out of 10 for everybody.
Yeah,
took up 6 pages, but anyway, and he gave them all pretty much a glowing report. So something going on, something good going on there.
There is. I think the academy has probably taken longer to start producing a decent number of good players, or a good number of decent players, whichever way you want to put it, than you would have liked, than even the club would have liked, probably. The Eisens have been here 8 years now. They talked about it being important, I think, when they first came in and before they took over even, and I suppose we've yet to see that fully being realised in terms of it being a production line of good players, either good players who do really well for us and become regulars for us, or good players who we can make a few quid from in selling to somebody a bit lower down the league. But maybe that's just starting to turn. I mean, there have been a couple of sort of quite big turnovers of staff, I think, in the academy. Different leaders and coaches overseeing it. So that's a factor as well, isn't it? Sometimes you don't always get the right sort of...
things are really moving at Fratton Park, aren't they? Because the women's team is having a bit of a rejig. The academy is starting to blossom. The first team, we've talked about that, comings and goings, and Sam Hudson's clearly doing a very good job. I struggle with Sam because I can't commit to memory his job title. It's too...
No.
He is the academy... I've had to write it down. He is the academy head professional development phase coach.
Goodness me. That takes up 2 lines of application form, doesn't it? Yeah,
I had an idle 2 minutes before we got through to you, and I googled the world's longest ever job title, and it is only marginally longer than Sam's job.
Is it?
So
it's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? Can't they just call him head of something?
Yeah, well, if he's got an assistant, then that assistant makes that job title even longer. The longest ever job title is said to be Temporary Part-Time Libraries Northwest Interlibrary Loan Business Unit Administration Assistant. That's on somebody's door, right? But he's doing a good job, and so is Jay Sadler.
Yeah.
So is Jay Sadler with
yes,
turning Pompey Women into a force to be reckoned with.
That's right. They had a tough start, didn't they, after promotion last season, but established themselves quite well in the end. So it'll be interesting to see how they do again this year. It's all about a sort of bit of year-on-year growth, isn't it? I mean, it's a bit boring in a way for people who just want a title bid every year, because you're not going to get it.
No.
You know, in the level we're at now, if you can improve a little bit year on year, then that's good. Even that takes some doing. You know, standing still is difficult, they say, don't they? You know, if you want to finish, where did we finish last year? 16th.
Yeah,
if you want to finish 16th again next season, you'll have to probably be a little bit better than you were last season. Therefore, if you want to finish 12th, 11th or 12th, which was my prediction on here last week, which I'll have to stick to for now because it's on record. You know, if you want to move up that many places in the final table, then you have to improve significantly. And it's not easy, and it costs money. So
it's difficult to resist. You shouldn't, but it's difficult to resist comparing the players who we've let go to the players who are coming in on a kind of like-for-like basis. And you find yourself going, well, I think he is probably going to be more successful in that role than X was, who did a good job, but he was a lower championship table player. Lower in he was a player who wasn't out of place fighting a relegation battle in the championship. But the player that we've got coming in, sort of replacing him, is a player we could picture having reasonable hopes of the playoffs. Yeah, and when you do it like that, on paper, we are improving.
So far, yeah, you would say so, wouldn't you? Even at this stage, you know, without having seen too much of the couple of new players we've got, you know, from what we know about them, that would seem to be the case. And it's quite harsh, isn't it? Because, you know, in any given season, if you end up, you know, if your aim is to avoid relegation and that's what you end up doing, then you give all that squad you hold them in high regard, don't you?
Yes.
And when they do their lap of honour at the end of the season, you're giving them high fives and everything else. And then you have to say, right, we need to get rid of him, because we actually want to do better than we did last season. And I think John Messino's quite good at that. I think he's a good manager, and I'm sure he's a good manager to work for. But he is quite ruthless as well, isn't he?
He is ruthless, but he's also felt the other side of it. He has had ruthlessness delivered to him during his playing career.
Very true. Which probably helps him. It helps him know how to be ruthless, I suppose, in a way. You know, if he knows that now he's manager, you have to have a ruthless streak as a manager, so that somebody like Christian Sadie, who might have been a very good servant to you for a couple of years, if you feel in your gut that player is not quite good enough to be part of your plans to improve and finish a little bit higher in the league, then you have to tell that player that. And I'm sure because of how John Messino's career went, you know, he was bombed out of a couple of places, wasn't he, a bit unceremoniously. That I'm sure he now delivers such news to others in as reasonable a way as you can.
Yes,
as you can.
His dad told me that one time, it was the last day of the transfer window. He and his wife, who was pregnant and going to give birth at any time, had just bought a house in the city of the club that he was playing for, when he got called in by the manager and told that he was to clear out his desk.
Yeah.
And he had to go home and tell his wife that.
It's brutal, isn't it? Really?
Beyond brutal.
Wouldn't happen in many other industries, would it, really?
I don't know. I'm just thinking, you know, Gary Lineker had such a distinguished football career. He was never looking over his shoulder as a player because there wasn't anybody better than him. So the chances that he'd be replaced were slim to zero, and Slim's just left town, you know.
But what percentage of players can say that?
Absolutely,
not many.
But then you see, it prepares you for the worst in job terms, anyway.
Yeah.
Because now all these decades later, he's been such a distinguished broadcaster. He must feel, you know, the hurt that he's never really felt before, because he's never been subjected to those kind of insecurities.
That's right. It didn't happen to
as a
him in
footballer.
football.
I don't think it did.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it didn't. And maybe in his early days, I don't know about his early days. Leicester, wasn't he? Yeah, I mean, I suppose once you get to be a professional footballer, you've already cleared a few hurdles, haven't you? Quite a few hard ones, and you know that you're not. No one's guaranteed a good career where they can go and play for who they want to in all their years. I suppose the part of you has to be ready for that rejection, or you have to expect the unexpected, really.
Yeah.
And if you're ready for it, you're better equipped to take it. Like some of those who have left Pompey this summer.
Yeah.
Towler would have been disappointed not to be.
I gather
given a
that what
future
John
here,
Messino said to him is, I want the best for you, my son. I want the best for you. And I can't promise you.
Saying here.
Yeah, and you need to be playing. I want to see you playing. I want to see you out there every Saturday at 3:00, starting the game at a good level. And I think Riley Towler walked out of the office when he got that news feeling better than when he went in, probably suspecting that something like that was coming.
Yeah, it wasn't a surprise, was it?
But it was done well.
In his case, yeah.
As ever, Steve, thank you so much for your wit and warmth and wisdom.
Thank you.
Have a good week. If there's anything, we'll bother you. Otherwise, talk again in a week's time.
When the season will be about 2 weeks away from starting.
I know you. That was a real wake-up call the other week when you said it's just 4 weeks to go. I was oblivious.
Not that I'm counting down the days and the hours, but it'd be good to have proper football back.
It's around the corner. Okay. Thanks again, Steve.
See you soon.